from our 7 Tasmania studios. Your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Labor has pledged to focus on pushing ahead with state investments and addressing looming debt in the party's budget reply. The opposition also calling for a timeline for when Tasmania's finances would return to surplus. But the government has called Labor's plan a copycat edition.
Stepping up to give his first budget reply as opposition leader, Dean Winter not pulling any punches when it comes to the government's handling of the state's finances.
Premier, after 10 years of your government, the cupboard is well and truly empty. The credit card is maxed out and you're well behind paying off your mortgage.
Tasmania is facing current debt of $3.5 billion and it's projected to grow to $8.6 billion within 4 years. During question time, the opposition leader asked the Premier multiple times for a timeline of when our finances are expected to break even.
The budget delivers on our 2030 strong plan for Tasmania's future.
Providing his formal budget reply, Mr Winter noted an issue that got under his skin, accusing the government of allocating no money in the state budget for the long-awaited heart centre in Launceston's General Hospital, a government commitment from the state election.
It's a promise, a broken promise that Tasmanians will pay for, potentially with their lives.
The heart centre will be delivered as committed.
Labor's budget focus driving economic investments in Tasmania, and in order to do so, giving the Coordinator General more power to help businesses around the state.
If there's an ability to be able to provide influence to industry, then we should be doing everything in our powers to do that.
The government quick to shoot down Mr Winter's response in Parliament.
It's a copycat budget reply. There we have, Honourable Speaker.
Conflicting opinions, not just on what happens in Parliament, but also on the future of our finances. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Dozens of women have danced their way into court as Mona ramps up its push to keep men out of its ladies' lounge. The legal battle follows a discrimination complaint after a male patron was denied entry.
Power suits and pearls, suited up and strutting their stuff to the Supreme Court, continuing the fight to exclude men from the ladies' lounge at Hobart's Museum of Old and New Art.
Women and men are not equal today. All of the stats indicate that.
The appeal coming after the Tasmanian Civil and Administrative Tribunal ruled the ladies' lounge as discriminatory, forcing it to shut down after New South Wales man Jason Lau was denied entry last year. But Mona's lawyer says denying Mr Lau entry acts as an example of inequality against women, describing the lounge as a flipped universe, giving men a taste of discrimination, saying it allows women to experience dominance, giving them advantage and entry. But Mr Lau's lawyer says Mona hasn't made it clear how the lounge would address equal opportunity and only reflects a historical disadvantage. This is an artwork which reflects on historic discrimination. But the museum argues the tribunal incorrectly interpreted the ladies' lounge as just a space as opposed to an experience, saying it is designed to promote the experience of discrimination on the basis of gender. It's unclear when Justice Marshall will hand down his decision.
We'll see, but I'm very optimistic.
Victory is far from certain, but the fight has certainly put a pep in their step. Rebecca Gaidaneris at 7 Tasmania News.
More than 6,000 Tasmanians have signed a petition supporting a ban on puppy farming. It follows the state's largest breeding operations being shut down and more than 200 Labradoodles rescued. Independent MP David O'Byrne says lengthy legal battles to shut the farm could have been avoided if stronger laws were in place.
The fact that the RSPCA had to go through such a complex battle to get this puppy farm closed down proves that our current framework of laws is not working.
The state government says a review is currently underway to prevent overbreeding and improve welfare for all dogs. A pilot mobile GP program in southern Tasmania will be extending its service for another 2 years. The expansion by Morton Group offers an extra 9,000 GP appointments for vulnerable Tasmanians in areas including New Norfolk and Glenorchy, aiming to ease patient flow in hospitals.
Of the 3,149 people that have accessed the service in the first 8 months of the year, 211 have categorically said they would have gone to the emergency department.
This is fully Medicare covered, fully bulk billed, no cost to the vulnerable Tasmanians.
The state government says it will now consider expanding the service statewide. Hobart City Council has endorsed a trial of improvements to Collin Street, including opportunities for on-street dining, seating and separated cycle lanes.
As a measure to reduce congestion, improve health and reduce pollution. So it's becoming really essential and common infrastructure in almost every city in Australia that you go to.
Well, I ride to work and ride home, so I use Collin Street most days. And it isn't designed for bikes at the moment, so I'm looking forward to it being a safer way to get to work.
It's hoped the trial, set to begin early next year, will improve safety for people riding and walking along the street. The Deloraine community is reeling with the local Red Cross ceasing to exist. After 110 years serving the area, the remaining group of volunteers who spent decades door knocking and fundraising will wind up their work due to a lack of helpers.
For the past 10 years, Lexi Young has hosted Red Cross meetings from the kitchen table of her Deloraine home. Her loyal band of volunteers has dwindled in recent years, and with the remaining members in their twilight years, it's time to call it a day.
Most of us are over 80 and we just can't keep going anymore. But we've done our duty and helped out.
Attempts to recruit fresh blood from the local community proving unsuccessful.
Yes, they all do different things today. The younger ones now are going to the gym or going to the swimming pool.
Today, Lexi, Jan, Geraldine and Judith reminisced about the countless hours they've spent raising tens of thousands of dollars for charity.
Well, I door knocked for Red Cross and I also sat down at Woolies and sold raffle tickets with Lexi.
A collector for Red Cross around the Lamana and Red Hills area.
There was collective sadness in Deloraine as word spread about the group's imminent demise.
It's incredibly sad.
You'd think more people would be willing to do it.
No, not many people want to do stuff these days. It's voluntary. Yes, it's all about the money.
Do you want to volunteer for them?
I am flat out.
Haven't got time.
I don't have time.
And I think it's a sign of the times. We've got cost of living issues on families. Mum and dad are potentially out working 5 days, 6 days a week.
The ladies will share a final cup of tea on Thursday before officially disbanding. Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
The sights and sounds of Tasmania are on show at Launceston's QV Mag as stunning vision is combined with live dance. The concept dreamed up by young dancers from Stompen, putting on special performances for the Junction Arts Festival this weekend.
What you'll experience in the space is a lot of places around Tasmania which have a relationship to the dancers themselves and their sense of place.
They think about how landscape might feel interpreted by the body, but also how they feel when they go into that space.
Tickets to the performances are sold out, but you can catch the projection experience for free until November.
His Roos might have missed the TSL Grand Final by a point, but Clarence's Jack Dolliver has a medallion to show for his season. The 20-year-old recognised as the league's best young player, awarded the Matthew Richardson Medal. In his first full TSL season, he was seen as playing a huge role in the Roos' climb up the ladder, kicking 23 goals in 20 games.
Great to play some consistent footy in one team. It's good to learn different roles as well, which is credit to my teammates, obviously helping me learn them, and to Spear, obviously putting that belief in me and trusting me to go out there and play with confidence every week.
He's eyeing off a spot in Tasmania's new Senior Talent Academy next year. Even Hale wasn't able to stop University's run to the Premier League Hockey's Women's Grand Final. After a 2-1 win over Northwest Grads on an ice-covered field, they'll face Diamondbacks in the Grand Final. Diamondbacks also play the Men's Grand Final, looking for their first trophy since 1978 against Canterbury, having secured a 2-1 preliminary final win over Uni. Continuing his career best form in the English summer, Bo Webster has seen firsthand the advantages of keeping busy in the off-season, and the reigning Sheffield Shield Player of the Year says there's plenty of drive amongst the Tigers after falling short in last year's final. But first, he's acclimatising to Hobart, having just returned from a T10 comp in the Cayman Islands.
It's vastly different. It was, I think, 35 most days and 100% humidity there, and I think I spent, majority of the day at the beach. We got so close last year. I think it's just fueled the hunger for this group, and it's quite a young group really, to go on and do one better.
They start their one-day cup campaign on Monday against Victoria. And after 3 years in Scotland playing for Heart of Midlothian, Launceston's Nathaniel Atkinson is coming home to Australia. He's returning to Melbourne City, where in 2021 he used his head to seal the A-League Grand Final. The club signing him at the last minute, right on deadline day. Let's see if he can win them another championship, Kim.
Yep, and a cheaper flight back home to Tassie. Thanks, Nick. Well, Kaya will join us after the break with the weather forecast.
Good evening. Hobart, Launceston and Burnie 15 today. The state's high 16 in Devonport and at Friendly Beaches. 15 at St Helens and Maria Island. Flinders Island, Smithton, Low Head, Grove and Bushy Park all sharing 14. 13 on King Island, 12 at Strawn and 7 for Lyowini. We saw mostly cloudy skies about the west with partly cloudy skies elsewhere today. A large band of cloud is covering the tropics as low-level cloud moves over Tasmania and coastal parts of Victoria. Tomorrow shows a high over eastern states as a cold front approaches. West to northwesterly winds reaching up to 40 knots about the south. Westerly swells peaking at 5.5 metres. We have a gale warning for coastal waters between Tasman Island to Wineglass Bay. A strong wind warning is in place for remaining waters to include many inland lakes. A flood warning continues for the Huon River and a warning to sheep graziers for the northwest coast, Upper Derwent Valley and also in the southeast. 15 and showers for Hobart tomorrow, showery also in Geeston and Bothwell with 12. Winds easing in Launceston but showers remain 14, wet and windy in Devonport 14, 13 and much the same for Cressy. 13 for Burnie and Strawn, showers persisting yet winds easing, very windy conditions for Curry 15's the top. Showers also extending to the east tomorrow, St Helens 15, 16 for both Swansea and Orford. Thursday, showers about the west and north, snow falling to 400 metres about the west and south. Friday, showers about the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands, extending statewide in the afternoon with more snow falling to 600 metres. And as we welcome the weekend, we can expect showers about the west and north on Saturday, extending throughout the afternoon, snow falling to 800 metres in the evening. We'll take a look at mainland conditions now for your Wednesday. Late showers for Melbourne tomorrow, a couple of showers also in Darwin, warming up in Sydney with a lovely 26 degrees. Cloudy skies this evening. Hobart currently 12 degrees, Launceston 11 and also 11 for Devonport. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night, Kim.
And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night.